Welcome to Inner Swim, a space dedicated to helping you cultivate a deeper mind-body connection and explore yourself through the beautiful practices of yoga. My name is Jaylyn. I am a full-time yoga teacher going virtual, and I'll be your guide. So if you love yoga content, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so that you never miss a new video. I'm so glad that you're here, and let's get into today's practice. So this is Yin Yoga. This will be just like a short, sweet practice to especially open up through the spine, through your back, and through the hips. And so all you'll need is a little bit of space and maybe something cushiony to practice on. So I have this rug here. You could have a yoga mat or a blanket. If you know that you have kind of tight hips, I would suggest that you have a pillow or two handy, because there may be points in the practice that you want to support a little bit if your hips feel really tight, okay? So yeah, let's start. Welcome everyone. We're gonna begin lying down. So hopefully you have that comfy surface, and let's just make our way down onto our backs. If you want to do this nice and slowly, you can just plant your feet, hold the back of your thighs, and just slowly roll it down. Oh, coming all the way down. And now, you might keep your feet planted, just like that. Or if it would feel more comfortable, you can stretch your legs out for the first few moments of class here. Maybe rest your hands on your belly. Maybe rest your palms by your sides. So the first couple minutes here, very intuitive, just checking in and seeing how your body would love to be. I encourage you to find a shape right now that feels like it's creating some freedom, especially in and around your heart and your hips. But also there's a sense of support. So you're grounding the back body into the earth. My head is turned just so you can hear me better, but you can just gaze upward or even close your eyes. We're just going to start with some deeper, fuller breaths. And we're going to gradually let that breath stretch out a bit so that for the rest of our practice, we have a naturally deeper breath. So if it's helpful, you can place a hand on your belly and just start to take deeper breaths, whatever that means for you. Just take a couple deeper breaths. Maybe in through the nose, out through the mouth. Now if you have your hand on your belly, I'll have you just put that hand on the space between the low ribs, so the upper belly region. And as we breathe in, imagine expanding that place. And notice how the belly gently stretches and maybe even the chest. And as you breathe out, just letting it go through the mouth. And breathing in, feeling those low ribs expand on all sides. And breathing out. So don't worry if this is really subtle for you. Like I said, we're just gradually expanding the breath. Know that when you breathe this way, in and around your belly region, you could stir up some feelings, sensations, and sometimes even emotions. So let's take maybe 5 more breaths like this, filling up to your capacity. And as you breathe out, you can actually help the belly squeeze the breath out. Imagine breathing out through the pelvis and the feet. So what would that feel like? Breathe in from your center and breathe out, gently squeeze the breath out, sending it through the legs, through the feet. And now, I invite you to just let your breath be. And just see what it does naturally now. Just see where it goes. So for your yin practice, and these yin shapes that we'll take, I invite you to the best of your ability to allow that breath to be low and slow. So breathing from that center. And they don't have to be big breaths. They can be small. But let them be low and slow, whatever that means for you. And just relaxing the eyes and the eyebrows. There won't be much to see in this practice. You might observe a couple demonstrations if you need them, visuals from my screen. But otherwise, you can be very internal here, very meditative, just with yourself. So let's come into our first official yin shape. And so if your knees are straight, you're just going to bend the knees and plant the feet. And just planting the feet right beneath your knees and about as wide as your pelvic bones or your hip bones here. So not too wide, just a little space. And we're just going to gently press the feet into the floor and just feel the back of the pelvis widening out on the ground. Hopefully you can feel your shoulder blades nice and grounded. So already starting to connect the back body with some awareness here. Now we're just going to press even more into the feet and just start to roll the low back into the floor. So grounding through the whole spinal column into the floor. The pelvis kind of tips up and back. Pubic bones lift slightly and just notice how that lengthens your spine. And then opposite, we're going to roll the pelvis slightly forward, create a little space there in the low back, little arch in the spine, belly lifts, chest lifts. And so just rocking like that a couple of times back and forward. And notice how this little pelvic rocking moves the rest of the spine. It's like a little cat and cow on the back. And so we're just kind of warming up here, giving a little movement and sensation through the hips, through the back, Nice. And now bringing the pelvis back into neutral. We're going to stretch one leg out and then the other leg and bring the legs together. And then if possible, you can reach your arms up and overhead. So don't worry, you can have the arms more like by your side of head, or you can have them up and overhead, maybe holding opposite forearms or opposite wrists, or even opposite elbows. So there's so many places to be with the upper body. And we're gonna come into banana pose. So you're gonna start just walking your upper body over to the right, and we wanna curve the spine over to the right, walking the shoulder blades and the arms and the head. And then you're gonna mirror this with your feet. So just walking the feet over to the right. So you create this crescent moon shape with your body. The pelvis stays grounded. Shoulder blades stay grounded. Just gently stretching the left side from armpit all the way to the ankle. So the sensations might be very subtle here. That is good. They might be really big sensations. That is also good. Whatever is there for you to notice, just being with that. Maybe if it's morning for you, you can reflect on the kind of sleep that you had last night. Notice how rested you feel. If it's evening for you, you might reflect on how you're unwinding here for your evening, starting to prepare for sleep. So just a few more breaths. And then we're going to walk the feet back through center, followed by the upper body. Everything just inches back into the middle. And you can realign yourself here. Maybe give your arms a little rest in the center. Oh. Noticing how the left side feels and how the right side feels. And when you're ready, we're going to lift the arms overhead again, this time holding opposite elbows, forearms, or wrists on top, opposite on top. And then just inching the upper body over to the left. Again, crescent moon shape. And then inching the feet, the heels over to the left. Just until you get a little feedback. It's like a little pull of your skin. And so we're really gently lengthening the two sides of the body, activating left side, right side, maybe cultivating a little sense of balance in the body and the mind. Your mind being that awareness also that is diffused through your whole body, in every cell, and therefore in every sensation. So in these moments of silence are little spaces, opportunities for you to just be with yourself. It's almost like a meditation that you sit in with your whole body in this shape that is creating, right, a sort of mood. It's allowing your energy to flow in a certain pattern, a certain way. It's just noticing how that affects you. Now, what's the influence? And just take a deeper breath or two here. As we begin to close off this shape, we'll just start to inch the heels back through center. Take your time. Inching the upper body back through center. And then have a little rest. The arms can come down. And just noticing the echo of that. And so when you're ready, if you're ready, we're just gonna slide one foot to the floor, plant that foot, and then slide the other foot to the floor next to it. And we'll take one more shape here on our backs. So you can walk the feet in as close to you as is comfortable, or as far away as you like. Okay, so this is your body, your practice. You be the ultimate guide. We're going to bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees fall apart. And we won't hold this for too long. We're just going to let the knees drop and allow for a really passive opening through the groins here and the whole base of the pelvis. Here's where you might enjoy having those pillows under your knees, if this feels like a bit much. If you can settle and you can breathe, then it's all good. And tuning into where your hands would love to land, maybe on the belly. Might be nice to feel that breath rising and falling in the belly. Feeling all the sensations going on here in this very primal, sensational, fluid part of us. Or you might bring the arms out by your side, by your head, in like a cactus position. And I love this shape because it's so receptive. It's like totally open. Totally open. So what are we opening up to? What are you opening up to? We'll just enjoy a few more breaths here. Maybe reflecting on what you would love to be receptive to, or just being receptive. Just being open to what is. And if it calls to you, you can take a couple of deeper pull of breath in and out through the mouth, like a cleansing breath. And when you're ready, use your hands to the outer edges of your knees to help the knees together. So we want the legs to stay relaxed and just help the legs in. We'll step the feet out wide and let the knees fall in, and just let the lower back of pelvis kind of roll into the floor, releasing the low back. So you might stay like this, or you might bring the knees in towards your chest now and just further press your spine into the earth. Give yourself a little hug. Maybe even rocking a bit side to side. Or you might bring one hand to either knee and roll the knees around in space, massaging the sacral lumbar, lower spine, back of pelvis, even those glutes on the side, the little outer hip muscles, you can give them a little massage here. And if you're circling, just go ahead and circle in the opposite direction a few times. Nice, and when you feel ready, you're just gonna rock all the way over onto one side. Gently press yourself up. And what we're gonna do is just flip right over onto the belly. So it doesn't have to be graceful. We're just gonna come onto the belly. Maybe rest your head here. It's always nice to make a pillow with the hands and rest the forehead or the side of your face. It's getting a whole new experience here on your belly. New sensations with the tops of the feet grounded, and the pubic bones and the belly, chest. These new points of connection, getting a little feedback from the ground. So I have a couple options for you. Option one is just to be here, because this is a really nice restorative shoulder opener, heart opener. So if you're getting a lot from this pose, just be here. Or option to come into Sphinx pose, which is a bit of a deeper back bend, heart opener. So if you'd like to come into Sphinx, we're going to keep the tops of the feet nice and grounded. See if you can get all your toes, toenails on the earth, even the pinky toenails. And then we'll slide the elbows just below the shoulders, propping up on the forearms, palms connected to the earth. And just see how that feels. If it's a little too much, you can slide the elbows more forward. Just see how it goes. You can always adjust in these first few breaths, Just come into your expression of the shape. And so ideally here we're feeling really supported by our arms and shoulders. We're feeling the heaviness of the legs and the feet. And so we're able to soften a bit down the length of the spine, relaxing the muscles around the spinal column, and relaxing also through the glutes. You might feel a bit of compression there in your lower back. That is the one of the points of this shape, so don't worry. We're gently squeezing those lower vertebrae. But if it doesn't feel right, you can always come back to that position with the head resting on the palms. Maybe closing your eyes. Gazing inward at your own heart. Gazing inward at the shape that your body takes from the inside out. And keep allowing the legs to reach back, nice and long through the legs. Okay, so if you've lifted up onto the forearms, we're going to prepare to come down. So I invite you to lengthen out as you come down. So reach your nose forward as you widen the elbows. Reach the nose out, out, out. And then you can make a pillow with your hands again. Rest your head. Just let the heels, the big toes come together and the heels melt apart a bit here. A little release for that sacrolumbar. Noticing the echo of that, the effect of the shape. So once you feel ready, no rush, we're going to slide the palms by the low ribs and curl the toes under. So we're going to engage everything quite a bit more here. We're going to press the palms down, draw the navel up and in, and just lift the chest, lift yourself, coming all the way back towards your heels. So a little child's pose release. You can maybe sit right back on your heels if possible. And you might just round your spine forward. Don't even worry about touching the ground with the forehead. Just rounding the spine, relaxing the head. If your forehead does come down, that's all right. You can rest it on your hands. And from here, we'll use our hands to press ourselves up and just come into a comfortable seat for a moment as we prepare for where we're going next. So we're gonna come into one more hip centered pose here. And so you're just gonna sit over onto one side. Maybe I'll sit like this. We're gonna stretch the legs forward. And just check in here if you're having a hard time sitting in this way, right? If you feel really rounded in your lower back, I suggest that you sit maybe on a pillow or even like a folded blanket. Now we're gonna bend the right knee. So the right knee is gonna come up and we're gonna keep this knee joint tight. So bring it in as close as you can to you. What I mean by tight is that the knee joint is closed. Yeah, so a nice squeeze there. Keep that and then see if you can bring the right leg over the left leg, like you want to stack your knees. Okay, so you might have to help that leg a bit. It's not really a graceful pose to get into. Sometimes you gotta wiggle, shift, kind of help it over. If you have a huge gap between your knees, that's where you might slide a pillow under you to close that space. And up to you, you might stay upright, just feeling that squeeze in the legs and the hips. If you want a little more sensation, a little more juice, you can start to lean forward a bit, just with the weight of your torso, and maybe using your hands on the earth to help support some of that weight. So we're just really passive about it, just allowing the heart to kind of curl forward. Bowing the head maybe. And relaxing your jaw, your tongue. There can be a lot of sensation in and around the hips and the legs. So let's keep our face relaxed so that you can be present with those deeper sensations, more deeply sat in the body. And as time goes on, as we near the end of the shape, you might give a little more juice only if you need more. But just knowing that we're nearing the end, a few more breaths, maybe 5 slow breaths. can always breathe out the mouth. And then when you feel ready, if you've come forward, just gently lift the torso. Come back to that upright seat here. Oh. We're actually just going to lift up really tall through the spine now. And bring your left hand to your right knee, outer right leg. We can just take a little twist, turning the chest to the right. Sitting up nice and tall and kind of pressing the legs into the floor now. And inhaling back through center. From here, we're going to lean back into the hands. Ground through those palms and just unwind your legs. So one at a time. Unwinding the legs, give them a nice stretch forward. Maybe flex and point your feet. A little release. Anything else that might feel good to help you release. Nice intuitive movement. And then final thing here, we're just going to do that on the other side, of course. We're going to bend and tighten the left knee. Bring it across the right leg. Help it across. Stack those knees as best you can. Use supports when you need. So find your shape. See what your body needs and wants. Try to roll the sole of that left foot more towards the ceiling if you can. And here you are. So you might stay upright, just sitting, maybe noticing differences on this side. Or you might bring some of your weight down over the legs. So it's not so much a forward bend, it's more of like a curling down and curling in. Wherever you are, the invitation is to close the eyes and just be with sensation, breath. And let's be here for another 5 slow breaths. Beautiful. Okay. So if you've come forward, use your hands to press yourself up. Press the legs down. Lift yourself up, engaging the muscles around your spine a bit more, sitting up tall. Try to reach up tall through the top of the back of the head. And really sitting down through those legs. Ground the legs. We'll take a little twist. So the right hand comes to the outer knee and just gently turning the chest to the left. One more breath, sit up nice and tall. Find that length, a little squeeze from your belly, and then come back through center. And we're gonna lean back into the hands, actually grounded through those palms, and unwinding the legs one at a time. Again, you can flex and point the feet. You can roll through the ankles. Maybe take some deeper breaths, letting go. Ooh. Beautiful. So to finish your practice today, you might come into a comfortable seat, maybe with the legs crossed, or a different kind of seat. It really doesn't matter. We're just going to take a moment to reflect here on our practice. So get comfortable. You could also lie down on your back. Once you've found a comfortable closing shape, you can just rest your palms. Rest your eyes. And finishing here with a moment or two of just open awareness. Open awareness, becoming a witness. A witness to your experience in the rebound and the echo of your practice. And as you sit and witness, you allow also all of the goodness that you've cultivated to settle in, to soak into every cell, every organ, every part of you. So when and if you're ready, take a nice deep breath in and let it go. And feel free to join me in sealing this practice, bringing one hand over the belly, one hand over the heart, and just further instilling the effect of this practice into the body-mind, further grounding your energies into yourself, and maybe bowing your head in a gesture of gratitude for being here today, for being in a body that allows you to move and breathe. Maybe finding a little gratitude for the time that you're able to spend in a space like this. might just gather your hands together in front of your heart to set a little intention for your day or evening, like a little seed, maybe a thought or a feeling or an image. Little intention for where you might be going from here. I thank you so much for practicing with me. I bow to you. Namaste. Thanks, everyone. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel for more yoga classes and meditations. And do feel free to leave your questions or requests in the comments below. I read every comment and I always love to hear from you. Thanks again. I'll see you in the next video.